Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Global Sports Network. I'm Chris Fernandez, John Foster. John, we're going to talk a little bit about what is going on in the NFL and people getting hit. And, of course, we know that the Dodgers did win the World Series. Not that I didn't tell you that they were going to win, but they won.
You're sure?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you.
Vince, I think you remember
they didn't
saying
pull
that
that.
they were going to win.
They didn't pull that pitcher out. Snell.
Hey, John. How many times have I been wrong so far?
There's where analytics run into not taking, observing,
right?
Players' ability that day. I mean, just a big mistake. The Dodgers couldn't have been happier. Mookie Betts and the whole team, they talked to the whole team. Hey, great, you're pulling them out. That's terrific. So,
right. And I think when the Dodgers saw that, they were so happy.
They were. They were all ecstatic.
I think we talked about, John, the other day was, the analytics, what makes it the things go smooth for a team may not make it for other teams. In this case, the human error or the human emotion and substance and decision making took part here.
Yeah.
Where, the Dodgers were like, okay, great, we're doing it. We're getting this guy out here. Okay, great. That was based on the analytics.
Total analytics. They pulled him out.
Right.
And
rates,
they
correct.
need to be used together, Chris. I think
right.
you'd agree with that.
Yes.
Where you know the analytics of a situation and what it was here. They didn't want the batters to face that, the third time. In analytics, the numbers show you that most of the time, the third time they start hitting you. But they weren't hitting him. He had their numbers in this game. And that's where the coach has to make a decision here. Hey, and not only that, but talk to the pitcher. Just go out there like our great manager, I'll call him great, I love this movie made, Dusty Baker, walked out, and like he said himself, he doesn't usually change his mind when he makes up a decision to make a move or do something. But he walked out to the mound and he looked Charlie Morton in the eye, and Morton, gave him, no, I'm ready. And he changed his mind. He said that's one of the few times he changed his mind, and it paid off. Or not Charlie.
Right.
I'm talking about Greinke's.
Right,
yeah,
from Greinke, correct.
Sorry.
And John, and it's the human factor, the human error or human factor where you make a decision for the good or for the bad.
Right.
When you do analytics and you're going robotic and you're going computerized, they're not making the gut decision, leave him, take him out. And in the case of the Dodgers, they benefited from that. But a lot of the coaches in Major League Baseball and in any sport, they'll go with a gut feeling, John.
The Tampa Bay Rays, Chris, really use analytics the whole season. That's what they go by. That's what the manager does. And like Charlie Morton, he was upset when they pulled him out.
Right.
And now they pulled Snell out. And as much as it worked out with Charlie Morton, they won that game. So, Morton had to say, well, he knows best. That's the way it is. But here, I mean, this guy, and in the past too, I mean, there was a lot of analytics that said that this guy, after the sixth inning, goes way down, like a 30-40% drop in what's going to happen. So, but there's where you have to have the human factor of being a coach and knowing what somebody's capable of doing and sticking with them. So, that's a shame. But I think the better team won here.
Right. Just because the stats and analytics show you that, after the sixth inning, 30-40% success rate drops, that doesn't mean that, that you're going to be wrong if you throw that out the window and you used your human factor, your guts, and say, I'm going to stick with him.
Feel
and
of
most
the
of all,
game.
respect, John.
Right. Feel of the game.
Go and talk to your pitcher,
Yeah.
Have the respect for him.
I would think so. If I've never managed the baseball, but yeah, I would want to know how, and I'm sure he does. I'm positive. How you feeling today? Talk to him. Now, how much they respect on that or how much they think of a person, but he was throwing a hell of a game here.
Did
big mistake.
The Dodgers
not that they would have won.
Right.
Anyway.
Did the Dodgers a big favor?
Yep.
You should have left him in there, John.
Yep. Well, Chris, NFL, the Houston Texans, it doesn't look good for him. 1-6. J.J. Watt, he's involved possibly in a deal with New England. What do you think about that?
Well, we talked about it. It'd be a 2-for-1. You're looking at J.J. Watt and possibly Will Fuller going over there, John.
Will Fuller, that's correct.
Right now, you have $5 million that's open for the Texans right now as far as trading and looking at. They don't have any trade on their side. They don't have anything they can look at and say, "Oh, let's wait for the draft." There's nothing there for the draft for them. Nothing. So if they can make space for the cap and money in there with getting rid of JJ, getting rid of Will Fuller, and both of them going to the Patriots, I think that would be great for them right now, John. Just a matter of how much money can they get.
Right. The big or how many trades can they get?
Trades and money.
I think you should be able to get
money.
They're talking. Nobody's talking first round, which I just don't understand.
Yeah.
But second round for JJ, they're looking at, and Will Fuller a third or a fourth round. But if you do that, you really give up the team for the incoming coach. You take away Fuller, you take away the offense. That's the deep ball threat.
If it's like that, John, then I have to think, John, that they decided to not abandon ship, but rebuild both on the defense
and so that means,
and somewhat on the offense.
Right,
John.
and then that means that next year it's a rebuilding year.
Yeah.
If you keep these guys, and you let the new incoming coach, like we were talking about, Kubiak's in consideration now.
And
also
we had this new guy named Robert Salas, which was, of course, he was a coordinator here in Houston back in 2016, 2015, John. And he was basically coordinating the team defenses for the Texans. We were at training camp at that time when he was there. And then he has moved on to other teams, most recently San Francisco, where he was the assistant to the defensive coach. Correct.
Yeah. So, but I like the other one. I like
Kubiak just because he's had the experience and just because after leaving us, he went and got himself a Super Bowl trophy, John.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have Kubiak back here. I don't think that's likely. Let
me tell you, from the offense we're running now to what we're doing with what Kubiak runs, it's very similar to sorts where you're zone blocking. You're blocking the guy to the right and the inside of you, which is something that a lot of folks did back in high school. So it's something very similar and very easy here to run. The only thing is you got to have quick, fast-moving guards and tackles to must be able to shift and move right, shift and move left. And running back, same. Cut across, zoom across, go around. And I think that's a better offense built for Deshaun Watson.
Right. I mean, he has all the tools there, and that's what I'm saying. If you take away Fuller and you bring in a Kubiak or, possibly the Michigan coach.
Right. Jim Harbaugh, right.
Harbaugh. I like Harbaugh.
Definitely.
They would never have those problems bringing in Jim Harbaugh that we have always starting the game slow. Man, he makes sure the team is popping and hopping and out there, and he works them too hard. Problems with Jim Harbaugh from sources are saying, him getting along with front office staff.
Right.
He's really hard on the players,
on the
so sometimes he's not.
Respect on the owners.
But I'd rather have that and give that a shot, him or Kubiak, somebody that can come in and right away and take these tools and make them work.
Right, and from our understanding, Jim Harbaugh has gone through this before. He's done a rebuild. He's brought people back. He's brought teams back, has revived them and brought them.
He did that with San Francisco.
He
took a losing team.
Sir.
People said that they couldn't win with this. The Chicago Bears Singletary, he's like, I can't win with this. Well, the next year Harbaugh takes it over. They go to the AFC Championship game. The next year they go to the Super Bowl.
Right. There was that fringe going on between Mike Singletary and Jim Harbaugh as they took over. And, of course, they wouldn't respect. He lost the locker room, as you say, John.
Right.
And they no longer wanted to play for Mike Singletary. And, of course, Mike Singletary was an awesome linebacker for the 85 Bears. And that's where he got most of his toughness. But sometimes you got to give a little bit tough love, not just be tough, John. And there's no love in the club.
Well, Harbaugh, I like that pick. He's a quarterback, so he can relate to Deshaun Watson just like Kubiak. So I think those are like two great hires.
Right. And he'll be able to also relate a lot to receivers and the secondary.
Right.
So that's where we need the majority of the help.
I think we need something like that. Somebody that's been in the NFL. It's just a matter of I think Harbaugh still has a 1-year contract. Which they could probably work it out. Kubiak might be a little more available.
Kubiak might be a little bit more available, but would he want to?
The thing about Kubiak, too, I just thought about this, Chris. Who would be his defensive coordinator? Wouldn't he bring Wade back?
Well, it would be either Wade Phillips or the man who's coaching right now.
And Wade would like to – who? Romeo
Crennel. Right.
No. Do you think Romeo wants to do it again?
Right.
I think Romeo – I don't know. I don't know.
His gig is being defensive coach.
Yeah,
that's his gig.
That's true.
That's what he does.
That's always a choice. But I think if Kubiak came in, definitely he'd probably bring Wade in. And if Romeo wanted to stay around,
would be great.
Keep him in that assistant position that he's in
I
right
think
now.
That's the great hurrah, the great goodbye for Kubiak, is walking out a champion in a World Series, in a Super Bowl. John, being in Tampa, winning the Super Bowl this year, winning Super Bowl 55, leaving after proving himself again, Gary Kubiak, especially here in Houston after that awful 2-14 when he left. John, I think that would be great for him.
New England might be headed down that road at 2-4 with a tough game coming up this weekend. They have the Ravens going. But Chris, you know what I'd like to talk about? How about the hits that are going on in the NFL right now on quarterbacks?
Right.
Last night there was one.
Right.
You just watched that.
Teddy Bridgewater,
Bridgewater got hit.
Fowler went ahead and threw a foot out there, a leg out there, and tripped him up.
Leg.
And then he was able to sustain himself, pop back up, and then he received a hit from either a safety or linebacker, couldn't tell.
But he took a shot to the head with the shoulder. At least it wasn't a helmet. But still, he's falling one way. I mean, you got to know you're knocking this guy out. And he was down on the field. That's a knockout blow. That's like trying to knock somebody out when you already knocked him down and you want to hit him one more time, okay? So that's a knockout shot. He wasn't tackling him. Get that straight. Now, with the Dallas Cowboys and Andy Dalton, that's a real sad affair right there. Because we all know that Dak Prescott is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody wants that, knows that. I believe in that too. You bring Andy Dalton in, but there's something that about the feelings when you have a backup quarterback and you have your main quarterback. There's a little bit of rivalry there. And maybe Dak was a little, and people, can Andy Dalton, and people were pushing Dalton, but then the running backs and the team, they're around their quarterback, which is Dak Prescott.
Correct.
So anybody that wants to go against that, well, no, we need Dak. If they put Andy in, they're not going to perform. They are not going to, and this happens. Now, he gets spearheaded
he gets slammed, John. He doesn't get spearheaded. He gets slammed.
The guy torpedoed himself. That torpedoing and led with the helmet to helmet on Dalton. But the sad thing
that was very obvious.
It proved that they really don't care about Andy Dalton. And Elliott fumbling twice in a row on first downs. It's like, we can't win. I don't care. That's an I don't care fumble. And that's because Andy Dalton's our quarterback and we can't win now. Well, I'll just make it more impossible for him to win. It's not I don't think it's a mindset where he intended to do this intentionally, but intentionally he wasn't being the best he could be, and that's a problem.
Right. And you tend to have that, John, when you're in the huddle and you have an offensive line.
All the way around.
Your quarterback leaves and you're a good quarterback and this guy just came in, and the guy that came in, whatever, kind of don't like the guy.
Right.
Okay, I may 50-50 go out there and block. And that's what happens when you 50-50 go out and block, John.
Well, I'll tell you a little story. When I quarterback, I kind of went through that. I came in late one season on a team that didn't know me. He's a quarterback, so I trained. We're not doing very well. And every time I went in and I worked with the first string, they didn't like it. He handed me the ball wrong. He can't throw. I mean, it's a joke,
Yeah.
And I knew I did it right. That's what I do, I did it for a year. Anyway, that's a sad story, and then nobody stood up for him when that guy. Even if that was my teammate and I didn't like him, and I saw somebody do that, I'd had words with him. Okay. So that's just a team thing. They're the Dallas Cowboys right now are definitely a I team. They're not a we team.
We team.
And that's a shame to see the Cowboys do that. But they're in a tough situation. Mike McCarthy being the head coach, and people are saying that the coaching's not going on.
There's no Rodgers here that he can go to, I'm afraid.
Yeah, no Aaron Rodgers. So,
all right, guys. Looks like we're going to go to our first break. We'll be back in a few minutes here on Global Sports Network. We'll be right back.
work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness can strike without warning and wipe out your life savings. In fact, it's the #1 reason for bankruptcy. Find Health Benefits offers an affordable solution. Get up to $50,000 if you get cancer, stroke, or a heart attack, giving you the peace of mind to focus on getting better while the plan helps you to pay your bills and medical expenses. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. 66% of seniors spend more time shopping for cable TV than Medicare plans. Most say because it's just too confusing. Laws change every year. The wrong plan could cost you thousands and prevent you from seeing the doctors you want. Introducing FindHealthBenefits.com. Save time, save money, see specialists without referrals. Go to FindHealthBenefits.com or call 877-235-6094 for this informative brochure.
Society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Global Sports Network. John, what is in the coach? Houston Rockets have a new coach, John. This is exciting. What do you think about it?
I don't know. I'm surprised. I mean, somebody's excited. It's not me, but whatever. Jerome Solomon, he's sitting here writing about, this is a good hire, Silas. He's been training Silas. He's been training his whole life to be an NBA coach. Has he ever dealt with superstars like Harden and Westbrook before? I mean, maybe there's a relationship going on there that most of the public isn't privy to. So, I mean, if that's happening, then fine. But, I mean, that's a big gamble, Chris. They gave him a 4-year contract.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know all the details on this, but no, I'm not excited about it. You excited about it?
No, I'm not. Stephen Silas, his father, of course, played also in the NBA. His father's Paul Silas, John.
That's terrific.
And he was his assistant to Dallas Mavericks in Dallas, and basically that's the merit.
Perfect resume.
That's perfect.
I think that's perfect. And
that's the merit.
Take over a team where you got two superstars that have no direction, and you're gonna. But you know what? In the interview, I'm just knocking this. In the interview, there must be something that he's saying that makes it work. And I hope that he has Harden and Westbrook's ear, because these guys aren't going to listen to a rookie. I don't know. I see it that way. So if he's trying to give them direction and the minute it goes bad, he's got no backbone to stand up on like Van Gundy or John Lucas.
Right, exactly.
You
have no real show experience to say, hey, go and correct this guy Harden or this guy so-and-so. How are you going to correct them? You have no experience, John.
It's a tough spot.
There's no real coach experience in there. And of course, you take into account also, what if these rumors are true? And what if Morey, of course, this was a few days ago, Morey is with 76ers, just signed as operations coordinator, manager, director. He's planning on wanting to take Harden. I mean, what if these rumors are true and they're able to do that, John?
I'm just sitting here reading as we talk right here.
And this guy Silas has nothing.
Fertitta has there's no interest in trading Harden to the 76ers. And maybe it's some of these sports talkers. Right. Chris,
that's what they call rumors.
The rumors. That's exactly what it says here. Rumors that Morey would try to take James Harden and be the perfect fit with the 76ers. But
Harden still got 44 million left for this season, and then another 43 million coming to next season, total of 45 million, John. So I don't think he'll be leaving. And the other thing is he's going to have to request that he wants to go. And then if the Rockets decide to let him go,
right,
that's a totally different thing there.
And so I know
it'll be pretty hard for him to get out.
Our show follows up a very good show right after with some real basketball players here, and they can get a little more in depth on this. In fact, I might have to hang around or watch their show. I want to see what they have to say about this.
See what they have to say
in the basketball,
definitely, because it's very detrimental what you're doing right now, which is you're hiring Silas because either one, you're going to make the team a whole lot better. Right. You're going to bring in a big guy because you don't want the small ball. I'm going to assume the other would be because you just might be rebuilding. It's one of those two that they're going to be working with Silas, because if there's rebuilding, if there's losing, and you have a coach that's not the most experienced coach, John, then are you looking at the factor being numbers, money? Are they that bad off money? Also, I know not the same sport. I missed the train on this, but the Astros are cutting jobs, John. They're cutting jobs in on their team.
Who?
The Astros are cutting jobs.
Oh,
they're at
in the front office or on the team?
No, around. Like helpers, people, greeters, people that are regularly employed by the Astros.
Well, you got no games, and there's no guarantee that games are going to go on next year. I'm assuming, so you got to let these people go. What are you going to? You're going to keep paying them unemployment?
No. But they're signing contracts and they're giving players millions of dollars. So you're like, what?
It's just that's just a business. I don't think I don't see
direct correlation.
A correlation with. That's how I look at it. I mean, that's just business.
So you don't think that you don't think they're because of COVID?
You have to cut these people loose because Chris.
I think because of COVID. It's nothing wrong with it. I think because of COVID. They have no money.
The team's going to be paying all that unemployment. Right. Right. So, I mean, you got to cut them loose.
Same thing for the Rockets. I think it's the same, John, for the Rockets.
Of course. In all sports, they lost billions of dollars. Baseball lost billions of dollars. Football, billions of dollars.
I don't think that you want to put the future of the team on a coach that doesn't have all that experience and is not a built-up coach to coach. And I think the Rockets have made a bad decision.
Right.
And from what I know. Anyone else that was out there, maybe it was too much money. That could have been the factor, John. Don't know. Just taking a shot in the dark. Being that I can't see right now, I'm being pretty fair. Shot in the dark.
Oh, man. Yeah, you having problems with that one eye there, huh?
Yeah. It's my good eye.
Yeah. Chris went through a triple bypass, man. I can't believe that. That's tough.
Yeah, that was about 3 years ago.
Wow.
I might have to go visit.
Getting tough. I think you're going. Yeah, he's going to take a little visit. I
got to go visit the doctor today.
Prayers out for Chris when he goes.
Not doing too well.
Yeah, he doesn't have to go through that again. All right. Well, talking about the Texans, Chris, you like the J.J. Watt possibility trade to New England.
Right.
With Will Fuller.
That's one of the things we're talking about, and one of the other possibles we talked about also on another show, John, was that we talked about maybe Wisconsin.
Yeah, I like Green Bay. I mean, because he loves Green. He grew up to play for the Green Bay Packers. The problem there, Chris, with the Green Bay Packers, they have two good their pass rush is good. That's not a problem. And I like what you said. Now they have a third,
Now they have a third, yeah.
And J.J. Watt wouldn't be a third guy.
And Rodgers is not going to say no to a deep threat.
I don't know why you just can't take J.J. And I think the Texans should have been doing that. You run them up in the middle. You run them. You put your good two defensive ends there, and you put J.J. next to one of them. What are they going to do now?
Well,
good luck.
And they have, John. They use them on the outside. They use them on the inside. They use them on the edge. They've used them on the other side and the other side. Look at it like this. You have 5 guys, and you're playing pickup football or pickup baseball, whatever. But you're the only guy running, and I've done this before. You're the only guy running after the ground ball. You're the only guy throwing the ball. You're the only guy catching the ball. You're playing by yourself. And that's kind of what J.J. Watt's doing. He's playing defense on his own, John.
Yeah, the other guys. Well, a lot of it comes from the training, the coaches. I think we were listening together, and they were talking about, somebody was doing an interview, and the offensive line coaches, well, we got to learn like this, and this is how we learn, and you got to teach this guy. Wait a minute, that's your job, dude. Right. Your job is the coach, and you're saying, well, you don't, this is what you got to do. That's how you get the job. You do that, and you're supposed to do that well, and that's how you get hired. I don't know. That's a joke. To hear that interview, this guy, he just way out. he shouldn't have been hired. And that's why the offensive line is, there's no development. When you get a job, you have to have qualifications to coach, to make somebody better. Obviously, here he did, and he's been in that position for a long time. And now we're in the position that we're in right now. Lousy, stinko, 1-6. We're going to be, we got this week off, Chris. We play next week.
We got this week off. We have a bye, John, and we know. I told you I was going to rain on. I was not going to rain on your parade.
Loss?
But I got to tell you, John.
Yeah.
But after I told you yesterday in the show yesterday that I thought Jacksonville was going to win it, guess what happened? Well, I don't know if you noticed, but during the Texans game and Jacksonville, Minshew threw a pass.
Yeah.
And he came back doing this number.
Ooh.
Right? Yeah. 2 weeks later, guess what? He's got mini fractures in his finger.
Fractures in who? It's hard to throw with a broken thumb.
A couple of broken things in there, stretching. And guess what? He's probably more than likely going to miss the game versus. That game?
Yeah, but how come you predicted them to win, didn't you?
Yeah, but this is before
Jacksonville.
Before it came out.
Before you found out about the thumb. Okay.
So right after our show, 3 hours later,
with thumb or no thumb, they still.
3 hours.
The Texans, that's a game they can win.
Right. 3 hours after our show, that came out. So it's going to be probably more than likely Glennon that's going to be out there being a quarterback, John. And I'd give this to the Texans right away if they play half of how they played versus Tennessee.
Yeah. I think the Texans should win that game.
Even though it's away.
Yeah, Deshaun's starting to play better. He's had, 3 games.
I tell you what, John.
He's the third highest passer.
Right, go ahead. I got a 55-inch screen. Okay, you've seen it. If the Texans lose this, I will break my TV, folks. If I'm still here next week, I will break my TV.
Yeah.
I seriously will.
Yeah.
Because that means that the Texans are at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, that's true.
They're stretching hard.
That's
because
true.
if you don't have...
I think a lot of people will be buying new TVs.
Your quarterback and your defense can't take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You're in serious
trouble. He gets that from Larry. If you guys don't know Larry, then you don't know sports. I'm kidding.
I'm like, oh my gosh, you can't beat this guy without Minshew. And he gave him a fight, John. He gave him a fight up. And he did. Sure did. Well, and Minshew almost took it. If it wasn't for that...
no, Minshew can play some ball.
That ejection of the safety.
You bring up a good point. They really had a better game against us than it showed up. We had a couple of breaks, and they didn't take advantage of a couple of things. So it could be a very, very close game. I'll tell you what, if we don't have JJ and Will Fuller,
then you're losing.
We're not winning that game.
Yep.
If we don't have JJ out there, we don't have a defense. They will run through the defense, and without Will Fuller, now you just really, it's rebuild. I feel sorry for Deshaun and the whole offense if they do that. So that's something I hope they're considering. They're just going to tear this team. Then you got to go out and play, what are we, 7 games in? They got to play another 9 games knowing that, for what? Maybe I get hurt.
I know, right?
So,
John, and a lot of things is if I've never been a GM, you've never been a GM, you've never been an owner.
I haven't. How do you know that?
But of a baseball football team. But if you say, well, I'm getting rid of this guy because I need to save money or need money in the salary cap. If I get rid of him, I got more space to buy more players or have more expenses.
Yeah.
So you get rid of the player not because he's too old, because it could be 25, 26, 28-year-old. And you just need more money to buy better options, okay?
Yeah.
So you let this guy go, and then this guy next year wins a Super Bowl and wins a World Series like Mookie Betts, is that his name?
Mookie Betts, yeah.
Mookie Betts just did that.
Okay? Again, and a big part of the Dodgers winning too.
Right. So. And guess what? Boston didn't want to pay Mookie Betts the $300 million. Nope. So they dealt him to the Dodgers, who said, you know what? We'll take him, and we'll take him all the way to the World Series.
Right. In the 8th or 9th inning, tell this guy that he's, he tested positive and he has to leave the team. But then after in the game that they win the World Series, and then now they told him to stay put
and leave the dugout
and don't go out there. And he was very adamant. I'm not doing it. So he's out there next to the coach who just had kids and everybody else and hugging on people. You can't blame him. So we can get into that little discussion, but I think we're going to take a little break here, and then we'll be back. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, John. We'll go ahead and do that, and we'll cover Turner. I think that was something seriously went bad that shouldn't have happened, John. Yeah. Regardless, let's just say no one told him.
You feel that way.
Yeah, no one told him, hey, stay back. you know already. That's what brought you and was what made you be able to play in postseason, John.
You know, not everybody. Yeah, not everybody looks at it that way. Like a lot of people that had the virus or somebody close in their family, somebody that's really affected, looks at it a little different than people that haven't had that close exposure to what happens when you have COVID-19. You
Gotcha,
know?
John.
Yeah, and you're grimacing that you have heart problems, not COVID-19.
Yeah. All right, guys. It looks like we're going to go a little break, John. How about we go to break? Go ahead and
good.
Send them to a break, John.
All right, we're going to go to a break. Here we're at the Edge, 1540 AM. That's Houston, 101.7 Galveston. I hope you're watching and enjoying Sports Talk with Chris Fernandez and John Foster. We'll be right back.
Bye-bye.
Don't push me because I'm close to the edge.
I'm trying not to lose my head.
Hey, this is the Talk About Unity show where I bring the talk.
And I bring the unity.
And together we talk about unity. Unity is what matters.
Come on.
And right now in our country, that's what we've got to do. So we do that here at Talk About Unity on the Edge Radio Network. Be with us every week.
It's going to be awesome. It always is. And I tell you what, the more we seek first to understand, then be understood, we make progress.
And we like to do that. And that's why everybody's on the brink. We love what we do at Edge Radio because everybody's on the edge. We bring them back from the edge and we bring the unity. So we're just glad to Edge Radio Network every Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Talk About Unity because here at Edge Radio Network, truth still matters.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to The Edge. Chris Fernandez, John Foster, and we're talking sports. I told Chris, he said, what are we going to talk about? We're talking sports today.
I was like, hey, I forgot. I was like, wait a minute. I don't feel so well. What are we talking about? Sports. I was like, okay, great. TV drama. No, we're talking about Turner, right? The Turner issue. Well, John, I know what you're saying. If you've had someone that's close to you that has maybe suffered or passed away from COVID, they might feel a little bit different. For some of us, you know, that Turner was celebrating with his teammates. It's understandable he wants to. He wants. The thing is, he shouldn't have.
He shouldn't have. Yeah.
Those safeguards are what got him to the postseason.
But Chris, that's once in a lifetime that this happens. I mean, you know, you dream about that. Who says he's ever going to be able to do that again? So, he went about it real. Like, I don't know. I didn't see a lot of it, but I mean, sitting next to, then he took his face, and, you know, of course, he probably wants that picture, and then he put it back on, but he's hugging guys. I mean, if you'd done that, maybe you go, look, you know, don't hug me, keep
Well,
your distance, try to
For
do
instance,
something.
remember me? What did I do? I had COVID back in July, guys. I'm not ashamed.
What?
Yeah, I had COVID back in July. You know that. I told you. So, anyways, this guy's riding next to me the whole time with a mask. I'm like, John, you really should stay away from it. And so I didn't come to the show until 3 weeks later.
You did
because
you,
I was
you did your
very
protocol,
ill.
and
So I did the whole protocol thing.
tested
I locked positive.
negative twice before we started
before I was able to
talking again. So
right. So then I just stayed home. I followed the protocol. Why can't this guy follow the protocol? It's okay for the next hour because I just found out. So I'm sure it'll be okay tomorrow, and I'll start my protocol tomorrow. It doesn't work like that, John.
Well, what do you think the National Baseball League, they're considering this very serious? What do you think that the suspension for him should
I think
be?
he should be suspended next season for I'm gonna say about 30 games.
30 games, yeah.
30 games.
Wow. That's pretty big. That'd be a big chunk out of his pocket.
Out of his
Let me
pocket,
ask you this
definitely.
one about football with the spearing there of
going back
Andy
to spearing?
Dalton, where he left his feet. You can't do that. You can't torpedo your body at a defensive player. I mean, it's almost like I said before.
Right.
It's almost like you're intentionally trying to really hurt somebody.
The guy, right? And the bad thing is not just that, but when he slid, the back of his helmet hit the ground, and
he knocked his helmet off.
His head popped up, and the guy came and hit him.
Really
and he hit
bad.
the ground again, and then it popped back up, and it came off, John.
Yeah.
So that's the bad thing.
And so something like this, I mean, the NFL really needs to stop this because you don't need to lead with your head. That's been illegal for a long time, and we still see a whole lot of that. You know what the fix to this is, Chris, right?
What is it?
Yeah, you don't no
helmets.
helmets. No
Talk to me.
helmets.
Yeah.
So
let's
now
do
let's
rugby,
see you
football.
tackle each other. Right.
Right.
Rugby's a tough sport, isn't it? And
We've
they're
covered it.
tough people
We
out there.
covered
They
the
hit really
Sabercats here in
hard.
Houston.
Guess
Yes,
what?
definitely.
There's less injuries in rugby than there is in football. Okay.
Well, there's only one thing.
Because they know how to tackle.
Right. There's only one thing about that, John. That in rugby, since you're a little bitty kid, like you are in
football,
in football, like Little League and all that good stuff, they show you how to tackle a player,
right,
and how to do tackles if you're playing rugby, and how to go about not using your head,
right,
or your neck, John,
right,
your body only. So they're very specific on how to tackle in rugby. We covered the Sabercats here in Houston for the first 2 years. I don't know if you remember, John, but I got to meet a lot of those guys and interview some of those guys. And one of the first things that they do, in fact, is go over the safety before they even go over the training and how to hit. And they go over the safety issues.
Interesting.
And I think the NFL needs to go over the safety issues every game, or at least right before a game. Say, look, remember this. Don't use your head. Don't use your arm. No face mask. I know it sounds very kiddie-like, and it sounds very, very high schoolish, but you're not doing it on the field, so that means it's not in your head that you're not supposed to do it. The other thing is not being able to control your body. I understand you're in flight. That happens. But this guy, he could have stopped, He could have stopped, but he didn't.
Yeah, he came in there like that. And then last night, the hit on Bridgewater. And, there's been a few. I remember years ago when Wade Phillips was in charge of this with Cam Newton. And it was the first game of the season, and they were beating Cam up like, head to head multiple times. And Cam, back was running the ball all the time or trying to go over, and they would meet him helmet to helmet, and they didn't call anything.
Right.
And this is like 3 years back. I just couldn't believe that. And Wade Phillips led that that defense. So, Cam, geez, it was crazy. That was really crazy. I mean, I must have counted 5 or 6 head-to-head contacts, with Cam that day. And this has to stop. So the NFL has to do that, or you're going to have to,
John.
You're going to have a major, maybe, we've had people,
John,
we've had people.
A lot of
but
a majority of the rules are coming in and down from the NFL this past few years has been because, and I know you have a big story and you have a guest that's coming over. And we talked about it.
I was going to mention that.
You can mention that right now if you want to before I get into this. Go ahead and mention it real quick.
I was leading up. And all right, next week I'd like to. We're going to bring on a guest, and this lady was married to. Remember Roman Gabriel?
Yes.
All right, Roman Gabriel, the quarterback of the Los Angeles Rams, and the backup quarterback for Roman Gabriel back in the 70s was this lady's husband. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty cool. You know, that's when in the 69, 70, 71, 72, Bob Greasy, Daryl LaMonica, Lenny Dawson.
Right.
Yeah.
For a lot of the folks that don't know, John, those eras, 60s and 70s, everything went. You didn't have the guidelines and, protective guidelines to a quarterback. A lot of those protective guidelines that you have now, not needing to strike the quarterback and, not putting the quarterback to the ground. And it's not really so much, quote unquote, the safety issue. It is, but on the other hand, it's a safety issue for...
Back in those days, you know what I saw? You guys, go on YouTube and watch this.
They called him the Hammer, John.
Watch this.
Why do you think they call him the Hammer?
Chris, back in the day, if you go back and just watch Dan Pastorini playing the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Shoot.
The play is over
by
5 seconds. And I don't know if it was Mean Joe Green but he just picks up Dan Pastorini and dumps him on his head, just like and no big deal. Dan gets up. Nobody. Are you kidding me? So I mean, the game. And back in those days, you didn't. Here's why Tammy's gonna. Back in those days, these guys, you needed another job. You played in the NFL because you loved football.
Right.
You made the average salary was $40,000 a year. Right. I know because I was investigating it back when I wanted to play football. That's what be Joe Theismann, Joe Montana, I quarterback, but never got to be that big to be able to do something like that, and I realized it. So I picked up an easy sport like boxing,
Sure. Yeah.
So
anyway,
I love to hit, and I don't like to get hit, but it happens.
And that's one of the reasons why the NFL has gone to these guidelines of protective measures, because a lot of the ex-football players have filed lawsuits in the last decade. And in doing
these
so,
guys can't walk in
injuries.
their 30s and 40s.
Joe Green was about this tall.
Millions.
When I met him, he was this high. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, millions came in, and the players and back in the day, and she just confirmed it. I just met Tammy like a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking, and I'm like, wow, I have somebody that I can talk to, because it used to infuriate me when I heard that the players of, back even when they started making money and making millions, they weren't able to give 1% back to take care of these guys that made them the millions. That was ridiculous. And we're going to have those type of questions for Tammy, and she'll be able to...
I feel bad that, you said a lot of those great players, especially with Miami Dolphins, but a bunch of those guys had to have second jobs.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then they can't pick up their kids in their 30s or 40s and walk around the house. And I had Elmo Wright. I'm good friends with Elmo, or not good friends, but... we knew each other. He's a big tennis player. He used to be the fastest guy in the NFL. Invented the Elmo Wright, the dance in the end zone. I used to love the Kansas City Chiefs. Told me some good stories about him and Lenny Dawson. We could share another day. But anyway, some gruesome stories about the equipment. It wasn't that good. The face mask would break and be, sticking in the guy.
I remember Len Dawson running for his life. Poor Lenny guy, Dawson. Man.
How about Fran Tarkenton?
Frank Tarkenton also.
How about Archie Manning? You ever heard of Manning?
Yes, of course.
That's Archie Manning, the real quarterback of the family. Archie Manning's. All right. Well, I think we're wrapping this up.
I think we'll wrap it up. But before we go, we had a special guest that we talked to a little while ago, and his name was John, as a matter of fact. And John was telling me that there was some hot news and fresh news, John, that somebody got coronavirus. I said, okay, John, can you tell me who it was? He said, man, I don't remember. I didn't hear, right? I said, okay, can you tell me which team it was? He says, well,
the Texans,
Chris, I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Guys, if you have news we can use, great. Also, give us a name, a last name at least, or a team. Wait, at least the sport you're talking about. Yeah. So we can have an inkling of what you're talking about.
Yeah, and
guys, we're gonna
sign off.
We're gonna sign off, guys. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us this Friday. It's a great cold Friday. Awesome. Winter's on its way. Hey, go trick or treat. Go have fun.
That's right. Halloween. Edge Radio, 1540 AM. Signing off till next week.
Global Sports Network. Goodbye.
Have a great day.